Hey listeners, this is Peter, and welcome back to History Shorts. Today's episode is proudly brought to you by the Podcast Republic, your ultimate listening app. Discover and subscribe to thousands of podcasts from around the world. Download Podcast Republic today, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Today on History Shorts. Long before airplanes, cargo ships, and global trade agreements, there was the Silk Road, the most storied network of routes in human history. It wasn't a single road, but really a vast web of trails stretching thousands of miles, from the imperial capitals of China to the ports of the Mediterranean. Along its paths moved merchants and monks, soldiers and spies, silk and spices, but also art and ideas. The Silk Road was more than commerce. It was the bloodstream of civilization, carrying not only goods but beliefs, technologies, and cultures that would shape the ancient world. And though it flourished nearly 2,000 years ago, the forces that it unleashed, globalization, cultural exchange, and competition for influence, are still with us today.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
A quick word from our sponsors.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here, wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. Like, Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day, yeah?
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This day in history. On December 9th, 1965, American television changed forever with the premiere of Charlie Brown Christmas. It was quiet, minimalist, and even melancholy, the opposite of every TV trend at the time. Executives thought that it would flop. Instead, it became one of the most beloved holiday specials ever made, with Linus's reading of the Nativity story making one of the rare moments that a major network broadcasts scripture in primetime. And on December 9th, 1992, the U.S. Marines landed in Somalia as part of Operation Restore Hope, a multinational humanitarian mission to secure food supplies during a devastating famine and civil war. Story of the day. The story of the Silk Road begins in the 2nd century BCE during the Han Dynasty in China, a period of prosperity and ambition. The Han emperors sought to expand their influence beyond the Great Wall, pushing westward into the harsh deserts and mountain ranges of Central Asia. Their goal wasn't exploration for exploration's sake, it was survival. Nomadic tribes known as Xiongnu, ancestors of later empires, constantly raided China's northern borders. To secure alliances, Emperor Wu of Han dispatched emissaries westward, most famously the envoy Zhang Qian, whose mission in 138 BCE would change the course of world history. Zhang Qian's travels took him through the wilds of Central Asia, through the oasis of what is now Uzbekistan and Afghanistan. Though captured and imprisoned along the way, he eventually reached the lands of Bactria and Fergana, where he found horses so strong and swift that they seemed divine. These heavenly horses, prized for their endurance, became the spark for new trade between East and West. By linking China's silk and ceramics with Central Asia's horses and precious stones, Zhang Qian unknowingly laid the foundation for what we now call the Silk Road. Silk, that shimmering, delicate fabric, became the most sought-after commodity in the ancient world. In China, silk production had been perfected over centuries. Its creation was a secret as guarded as any state weapon. Controlled by the imperial court, its methods passed on only through generations of weavers. Silk's allure lay not just in its beauty, but in its mastery. To the Romans, who first encountered it through Persian intermediaries, silk seemed almost magical. Pliny the Elder marveled that it glowed like water, and lamented that Roman women's love of silk was draining the empire's treasury. By the 1st century CE, silk was the ultimate status symbol, worn by emperors, priests, and aristocrats from Rome all the way to India. But along with silk came other treasures: spices, glass, paper, perfume, jewels, ivory, and wool. From the Mediterranean came gold and silver coins. From India, cotton textiles and Buddhism. From China, lacquerware and inventions like gunpowder and the compass. Every caravan that set out along the route carried not just goods, but pieces of civilization itself. The Silk Road wasn't just one highway. As I mentioned, it was an intricate network of overland and maritime routes. The main artery began in Chang'an, today's Xi'an, the Han capital, and wound west through the Gobi Desert to the oasis cities of Danhang and Turfan. There, caravans skirted the Taklamakan Desert, splitting into northern and southern paths that rejoined near Kashgar, the crossroads of Central Asia. From there, routes diverged again, some cutting across the mountains of Afghanistan toward Persia, others linking to India's Indus Valley. Ultimately, goods reached ports on the Mediterranean where they were shipped to Rome, Byzantium, and beyond. The journey could take a year or even more. Caravans crossed mountains, deserts, and war zones, braving bandits, blizzards, and political intrigue. Camels carried loads of up to 600 pounds, guided by experienced caravaneers who knew the location of every well and oasis. Few merchants ever traveled the full length of the route. Instead, trade operated like a relay system. Goods passed hand to hand, city to city, each trader adding a markup before moving on. The Silk Road was, in essence, a chain of trust, you might say, a human web linking far-flung worlds that otherwise might never have met. And if silk was the lifeblood of the route, then ideas were its soul. As goods crossed borders, so too did languages, religions, and philosophies. Nowhere was this more evident than in Central Asia, the beating heart of the Silk Road. By the 1st century CE, the faith of Buddhism, born in India, began spreading northward. Missionaries and monks carried not only scriptures, but art, sculpture, and architecture. Along the way, Buddhism absorbed local traditions, evolving into new forms like Mahayana Buddhism. In the oasis of Dunhuang, hidden temples carved into cliffs were filled with murals that depicted scenes of trade, worship, and cosmic journeys, visual testaments to cultural fusion. The same roots carried Nestorian Christianity, Zoroastrianism, and eventually Islam, which would reshape the Silk Road in the centuries to come. Knowledge traveled too. Papermaking, invented in China around 2nd century BCE, reached the Islamic world by the 8th century, and then revolutionized scholarship. Gunpowder, magnetic compasses, and printing followed similar paths, transforming warfare, navigation, and communication. In short, the Silk Road was kind of like the ancient world's internet, transmitting not just commodities, but ideas that would forever connect humanity. The Silk Road's golden age was built on the backs of empires that provided relative stability. During the Han Dynasty in the east and the Roman Empire in the west, roads were maintained, security enforced, and currencies standardized. Later, under Tang Dynasty and the Byzantine Empire, trade thrived again. In the 7th and 8th centuries, the rise of Islamic caliphs brought new vitality. Muslim merchants, especially Persian and Arab traders, dominated the middle corridors, linking China to the Mediterranean through bustling hubs like Baghdad. Cities such as these became cosmopolitan centers of culture, where Chinese silks, Indian spices, and Greek manuscripts changed hands beneath domes of turquoise and gold. The Persian scholar Al-Khwarizmi, whose name gave us algorithm, worked in Baghdad, his mathematics shaped by Greek geometry and Indian numerals, both carried along the Silk Road. Meanwhile, in China, the Tang capital of Chang grew into the largest city on earth, home to 500,000 people, including Persians, Turks, Indians, and Arabs. Street signs were even written in multiple languages, and markets bustled with goods from as far away as Africa. For a brief, dazzling period, the world seemed united by commerce and curiosity. But the same routes that carried wealth also carried danger. Caravans risked ambush, extortion, and disease. Empires rose and fell, and with each collapse, a section of the Silk Road would fall silently. By the 10th century, warfare between the rival Turk and Mongol tribes disrupted trade. Even the mighty Tang dynasty crumbled, fracturing China into warring states. And then came the Mongols, and with them, paradoxically, both destruction and renewal. In the 13th century, Genghis Khan and his successors forged the largest continuous empire the world had ever seen, stretching from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. Under Mongol rule, the Silk Road experienced one final golden age. The Mongols established a system of relay stations and passports known as the Yam, allowing merchants to travel with unprecedented safety. Caravans moved freely across the continents, and for a century at least, the world opened up again. From Europe, Marco Polo journeyed east to Khan's court in China, later writing the travels that would inspire generations of explorers. But peace under the Mongols was fleeting. As the empire fractured, new powers rose. The Ottomans and the Ming, each controlling parts of the route, each suspicious of foreign influence. By the 15th century, maritime trade routes were emerging, faster and much safer than overland caravans. When Portuguese ships reached India and China by sea, the Silk Road, after nearly 2,000 years, began to fade. Though its caravans are long gone, the Silk Road's legacy is everywhere. It reshaped how we eat, religions, and technologies. It left its mark on the art and architecture, from Buddhist cave paintings in China to Roman glass found in Japanese tombs. And it helped birth entire civilizations in the crossroads of Central Asia. Even diseases it spread changed history. The Black Death, after all, of the 14th century traveled westward, you guessed it, along the Silk Road routes, carried by rats and fleas aboard trading caravans, wiping out nearly a third of Europe's population. For the good of the order. One of the things I've been thinking about this week is how slow history moves when you really sit with it. We're so used to breaking news alerts, instant reactions, and the feeling that every moment demands an immediate opinion. But when you read history closely, when you step into the world where things unfolded over years, not hours, it forces you to breathe a little differently. Take almost any major event, like the fall of Rome or the American Revolution or the Civil Rights Movement. We talk about these moments as if they snapped into place overnight, but they didn't. They were slow-burning pressures, tiny decisions, and long stretches of uncertainty. Decades of preparation, and then one moment of realization. And the strange thing is that when you recognize how long genuine change takes, you start giving yourself more grace. Not everything needs to be solved today. Not every question has an immediate answer. Sometimes progress, in history and in life, moves at a pace of the people living it. So if you're feeling rushed, overwhelmed, or like you're already behind on the week, remember what the past teaches us, that meaningful things take time. Shoot me an email at peter@historyshortspodcast.com with any comments or questions, or visit www.historyshortspodcast.com and look for History Shorts Podcast on Facebook, X, and Patreon. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.